Greetings everybody, and welcome to our next video on cross products. So what we're asked to do in this problem is to compute the scalar triple product of u dotted with v cross w. And so in order to do that, we're really just doing a 3x3 determinant. So if we wanted to do u dotted with our v cross w, well, that really just amounts to our vector u going across the top. So 0, -2, and -1. Then our vector v on the second row. So 0, -8, -2. And then finally w on our third row, 0, -5, 0. Now, in order to compute this, remember what we're doing is to just kind of, just like we were doing the cross product of the vectors, we're taking our first component in our upper left-hand entry of our matrix. So we have the value of 0 times the 2x2 vector that we get in blocking out the first row and blocking out the first column. And so that gives us a -8, a -2, a -5, and a 0. Then remember that we change the sign, and so it becomes a minus. And so our next entry is going to be a -2 times the vector, or times the determinant that we get in ignoring the first row and ignoring the second column. So that gives us the values of 0, -2, 0, and 0. And then finally, for our third entry, we have our value of -1, so we're back to positive, -1, times the 2x2 determinant that we get in ignoring the first row and the third column, which gives us a 0, a -8, a 0, and a -5. And so what we have in each one of those cases is a 0 times 0 minus a 10 minus a -2 gives us a +2 times our determinant of 0 minus 0. And then finally, we have our -1 times our determinant of, again, 0 minus 0. And so what we end up with is the value of 0 for that vector. So what that kind of tells us is that these three vectors, really the scalar triple product represents the volume of a parallel pipe, that if we had the vectors u, v, and w, then we would have a parallel pipe for those vectors. And so in this case, since we have a volume of 0, it tells us that we really don't, in fact, have a volume, and we probably have just a two-dimensional shape. And so that's why we get a value of 0. So I hope you've enjoyed this example, and I will see you guys in the next problem. Take care.